Have you ever tried to create a habit in your life and you just couldn't get it to stick? Maybe healthier eating, exercise, reading more, meditating. There's no lack of advice out there on what habit you should be instilling in your life for a better, happier, healthier version of you. And yet, if you're like most people, you're still kind of stuck. The statistics of people who stick to a diet are pretty abysmal, and sticking to a workout routine is not much better. And don't even ask about the amount of people who actually finish a book they start reading or stick to a meditation plan. So if you have struggled to stick to your habits, you're not alone. You're like most people. And if that has been you, you've come to the right place. And after today, it'll never be you again, because I'm going to tell you the one major setback that gets in the way of 99% of your habits and what you can do today to never fall into that trap again. Welcome to Change Made Easy. Changing your habits, routines, and behaviors is hard. We make it easy. I'm Paul Leviton, and I help high achievers just like you who feel stuck bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Traditional self-help doesn't work. It's either too rigid, too generic, or too overwhelming. My approach is different. I simplify change by making it so easy it can't not happen. Using my easier framework, I'll help you create habits, routines, and behaviors that stick for good, so you can stop struggling and start thriving. It's that easy. Well, if you're still listening at this point, I assume that you have at least one habit that you're trying to build in your life. And it makes sense to want to habitualize things. A habit, in its simplest definition, is just something that you do on autopilot without thinking. So it makes sense that we want to habitualize things like eating better, exercising, reading, meditating, because these are things that are A, uncomfortable and kind of hard to do, and B, things that you have to do often, if not every day, in order to see the results from them. You don't get results from meditating once. You don't lose weight from eating one salad, is a common cliche. You don't get strong from exercising once. Reading one page of a book doesn't tell you much of the story. It's about doing these things consistently over time. And yet the struggle is that all of the things that are good for us feel slightly uncomfortable in the moment. And even if they don't, they still take from our finite time, our finite mental and physical energy. So if you could put some of these things on autopilot, that would take a load off of your shoulders. If you didn't have to think so much about eating healthy, if you didn't have to think so much about exercising, if it just kind of happened, that would make it that much easier and would make you that much more likely to do the thing consistently and long enough for you to actually get the result. Because in reality, usually the habit isn't the actual thing we care about. It's the result that comes at the other end of the habit. We don't meditate for meditation's sake. We meditate to feel better mentally or to deal with stress and anxiety. We don't eat better just because we like lettuce. We eat better because of the health benefits. We exercise because we want to be stronger or look a certain way. Hey, 1 second before we continue. If you're enjoying this episode, if you're learning something from this show, if you're catching yourself saying, man, this is so helpful. This Paul guy is pretty smart. First of all, thank you. But secondly, if that is you, you might have asked, how can I work with Paul? Can he help me create the change I've been looking for? And if you have, you're in luck. Because after 12 years as a coach, both in person and online, for the first time ever, I'm opening up my calendar specifically to talk to you, my podcast listener. Use the link in the show notes to book a completely free coaching session. If you need help with nutrition, fitness, motivation, mindset, basically anything that goes into building your happy, healthy life, then I want to talk to you. Click the link in the show notes and let's chat. I created this podcast to help, and now I want to go deeper. This is the first time I've ever offered anything like this, and I don't know how long it'll last or how long I'll be able to keep doing it, so take advantage while you can. All right, now let's get back to the show. So here you can start to see the challenge. The thing you want to do, you actually don't want to do at all. You want the result that comes from it. You don't want to eat healthy, you want the result that eating healthy gets you. Doing that thing is also challenging. Eating healthy means foregoing less healthy foods that taste better. It means cooking more. It means grocery shopping. It means lots of other things that take up your time and your finite energy. So all of these reasons stack on the side of why the hell would I do this? And it tips the scale, and that ends up being why you don't stick to the habit. And that's okay. That's the starting point for most people. But why do we still stay stuck? Why isn't it as simple as saying, I really want this thing, so I'm going to make myself do it? And there's a variety of reasons, a variety of things that obviously stop us from taking action towards our goals and stop us from building these healthy habits. But as a habit coach for over 15 years at this point, having helped thousands of people just like you create not only healthy habits, but habits that last forever. The one thing, if I had to distill it down, the one thing that keeps people stuck is simply doing too much too soon. And that's why this podcast is Change Made Easy. And that's why, as I say in the intro, I make things so easy that you can't not do them. Because what people tend to do in my experience, and maybe this has been you, is they get excited about creating the change. They get excited about being healthy, about looking better, about having more money, about the results that meditation will get for them. And so they decide to go all in. They go, I'm ready. I'm going to start grocery shopping, and I'm going to stop drinking alcohol, and I'm going to cut out carbs, and I'm also going to go to the gym, because going to the gym and eating healthy goes hand in hand, and I'm going to sleep better, and I'm going to stop scrolling. And it's like, you're doing too much. You're drinking through a fire hose. I gave you already a list of reasons why we actually don't want to change. Change is uncomfortable. Change is hard. Change takes energy. Change takes time. So your brain doesn't like change. If it did, it would have done it already. Your brain likes you exactly where you are. So when you're stacking up all of these big, complicated, annoying tasks that are part of the habit that you're trying to build, all you're doing is giving your brain cannon fodder and reasons to quit, to say, why the hell would I do this? And what this does is this sets you up to be in a situation where you have to rely purely on willpower and motivation. And that's not a place that you want to be. This is how most people go at change. They try to do as much as they can to get to the goal as fast as they can. That sets them up to where they have to just white knuckle their way through it. And that can work for some people sometimes. And these are the people that become famous for it. These are the people like a David Goggins, or someone who says, I did 75 hard and I did all this, or I cold plunged every day for a year, or I wrote my book every day for 2 hours and I wrote this whole thing. And it's like, those people go viral. Those people become famous. Why? Because it's fucking impossible for the average person to do that. And if you're like me, I'm just a regular person, I'm not going to be that person. And that's okay. And maybe you don't want to be that person either, who has to be so extreme. And in reality, that actually doesn't work for most people. So most people try to hold themselves to a standard of working super hard and just gritting their teeth and willpowering through it and being more disciplined, but that actually doesn't work. So instead, what I do with clients, and what you can do on your own, is take the reverse approach. Instead of trying to do the most and just gritting your teeth, white knuckling, willpowering your way through it, and just saying, yeah, I just got to do it. I just got to do this for 60 days and then everything will be different. Or I just got to do this for 30 days and then everything will be different. Instead of doing that, what if you just broke it down to being so small that not doing it feels stupid? What if you made it so stupid simple that to not do the habit would actually make you feel like, what the hell is wrong with me? What this looks like is reverse engineering your goal and continuing to break it down into its constituent parts until you see the building blocks of what that eventual habit is made of. So to be more specific, you want to eat healthy, but the real goal is to be healthier and be at a healthy weight. You want to lose 20, 30 pounds. You know that you probably have to eat healthy for the rest of your life for other reasons. So this goal of eating healthy is really for the goal of being at a healthier weight and being healthier. So what most people do is they go eat healthy. What does that mean? It means I got to stop eating out. It means I got to stop eating so much bread. It means I got to stop eating fried food. It means I got to stop drinking my Starbucks coffee latte, whatever. It means I got to start, it's like, you're doing way too much. What if we took that goal and broke it into all of those parts? Eating healthy might mean eating less carbs. Probably doesn't mean eating no carbs. It might mean cutting back on your 2-a-day Starbucks macchiato frappo wappa ding dong coffee or whatever it is. It might mean cutting back on alcohol. It might mean learning to cook. It might mean getting better at grocery shopping. It might mean getting more steps. But it doesn't mean doing all of these things at once. So we take all of those different pieces and we lay them out. And we say, which of these things feels the most attainable right now? And you go, well, I don't really want to give up my drinking yet, and I don't really want to give up pizza night with the kids, but I probably don't need 2 Starbucks mocha lattes every day. Okay. Could you go to 1 a day? Yeah, I could do that. Okay. And we start there. But no, Paul, but that's not enough. I won't get the results if I don't. But that's the whole point. When you do it like that, it's slow and it doesn't feel like anything that you don't want to do. Instead of trying to get everything done at once and you're literally fighting against yourself, trying to force yourself to do something that you don't want to do for the sake of some big goal, which eventually only leads to burnout and quitting, instead you make it so that you don't not want to do it. You say, yeah, I would like to have my 2 coffee drinks a day, but one day really isn't that big of a deal. You do that for a while. Then you go, I'm doing okay with one of these coffee drinks a day. What if I did it just 3 times a week? Okay. Then you start adding a little bit more steps. Then eventually you start cutting back on carbs. Then you start grocery shopping. But this is over a longer period of time. You're doing it in a way that doesn't feel so obtrusive to your daily goals, your daily routines. You already have a way of life. So you want to make the habits that you're trying to instill fit in with that rather than trying to burn everything down and start from scratch. So the big problem that keeps you from sticking to whatever habit that you're trying to do is, in a nutshell, drinking through a fire hose. It's trying to do too much too soon. It's wanting to get it all done as soon as possible because it feels like that's the fastest route to the result. And maybe it would be if you could stick to it. But the reality is that you don't. You try, you fizzle out, and you start again. And you're stuck in that loop until you say, screw this never works. So what if you tried something different? What if you broke it down into its smallest individual parts? All of the puzzle pieces that will eventually go together to create the jigsaw puzzle that is this habit instilled in you forever. But you do one piece, and then you let that settle in. And then you do another piece, and then you let that settle in. And slowly but surely, you build this habit into your life in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming, in a way that doesn't even feel like it's anything changing. And then all of a sudden, all of those pieces come together and everything is different, but you've done it in a way that works for you rather than against you. If you can do that, you can build any habit into your life without relying on willpower, without relying on motivation, discipline, or anything else. That's how you create habits that last, and that is change made easy. If you're interested in learning more about habits, check out my episode titled, What If Your Bad Habits Are Actually Good? I've linked it in the show notes and it pairs perfectly with this episode. Before you go, I want to talk to you. Literally. For the first time ever in over 12 years as a coach and 4 years doing this podcast, I'm opening up my schedule to help listeners like you for free. I'm offering a free coaching session to you as a thank you for supporting this show. I help people create their healthy habits and happy lives and create positive change around their health, wealth, and relationships. Whatever you're working on, mind, body, and soul, we can cover it all. If you're struggling, I want to help you build a plan to get through it and past it. So go into the show notes and click the link that says book a free call today. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep doing this, and my schedule will fill up. So if you want to take advantage, make it happen ASAP.